Y'all, good evening. As Brent just mentioned, I am Cole Kleiman from the WCHM and the Mountain Morning Show. Just want to say thanks so much for the opportunity to be here with each and every one of you this evening. I've had the opportunity to talk to just about every single face in this room, whether it be here this evening or whether it be through the radio, and it's been an absolute blessing and an honor. So real fast, I just want to go ahead and invite the two first candidates to come up for District 2, Shelley Tullis and Andrea Harper. If y'all can come up. Y'all give them a round of applause. Ladies, first and foremost, thank you so much for being here with me and with all of us this evening. Running for political office is not easy, and most of the time it's a very unforgiving position to be in. So thank you both for being willing to run for office. Real quick, just want to run over a couple of small rules. Of course, both of you have seen the rules already. Just so the audience knows, we're going to have our opening statements, and you'll have 2 minutes per statement there. And then as we go into the question, there will be 6 total questions, and you'll have 1 minute to answer each question. You'll have lights over here to monitor your time. Gilbert's going to be in charge of those. 15 seconds is going to come up, and the light's going to turn yellow, and then Cody is going to yell as loud as he possibly can to get you to stop. And if everybody could, no outbursts from the crowd or any questions like that. This is going to be a format just question and answer, so there will be no debate. And we are ready to go. Are y'all ready? All right, sounds good. So the first one, now this is going to be a little bit of a longer deal, so y'all are going to have to bear with me and pay really close attention to this. Over the past 2 decades, oh, yeah, you're right. Opening statements, go ahead. Not all of them, you have them.
Good evening. I'm Andrea Harper, and I am running for County Commission District 2. I live in Baldwin. I've been here about 20 years. I'm a lifelong Republican, and I was your former county commissioner for 8 years, and I enjoyed every minute of it. And I still think I have something to offer. I have the time, I have the experience, I have the contacts, and I'm willing to do my part as county commissioner. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here. And Michelle, everybody, thank you for hosting this. My name is Shelley Tullis. I am running for Habersham County Commissioner, District 2. I was actually raised in Banks County, just a couple miles down below Habersham County line. I moved here with my husband whenever we met. He's back there somewhere. We've raised 2 wonderful boys here. We own businesses. I am actually the general manager of the Chattahoochee Mountain Fair, which is an agricultural fair. I'm president of the Mount Airy Civic Association. I am the chair of the Habersham County Parks and Rec. I'm also a member of the Mount Airy Planning and Zoning, and I am also a member of the Habersham County FFA alumni. I'm not a career politician. I'm going to be honest. I'm as nervous as I'll get out right now. However, Habersham County is a special place here, and I want to keep it that way. So.
Okay, so the opening question, as of now, we're going to go ahead and start here. This is a longer question, so the 2 of you, if you need me to go back and repeat anything, I will, and we'll get started. Are you ready? Okay. Over the past 2 decades, Habersham County's agricultural economy has seen a significant shift, which we all know. According to the University of Georgia Farmgate reports, our county ranked 3rd back in 2002, back when I was just a wee little fella. So with $223 million in Farmgate value back then. But by 2023, we'd fallen to 46th with approximately $119 million. While agriculture remains Habersham County's #1 industry, this trend suggests a substantial decline in both ranking and overall value. At the same time, we're experiencing continued population growth, which we all know, and increasing pressure for residential development as a bedroom community. Given these competing pressures, what top strategy would you consider to find a workable solution to reverse this trend? And we'll start with Andrea.
That is a long question. Oh, my goodness. Well, I don't think the new ordinance that the county is proposing is the answer, that's for sure. I'm a real advocate of private property rights, and I think that we do need to think about the farms that are here, to maintain the farms and maintain that property so that we can build that back up. I agree. It should be. It's a top priority, and it should remain that way.
Well, let's just be honest here. We're not going to make any more land, so we have to preserve what we already have. I'm not for growth. I understand there's some growth and it needs to be controlled. As far as the agricultural land, like I say, I mean, if we keep building and building, it's going to go away. For me, I want to preserve it and make sure that our kids and grandkids are able to live life like we are now. I want them to be able to walk out and see farms being done in Habersham County instead of just seeing houses on every corner.
All right, so question number 2. Are y'all ready for this? Okay, here we go. How long and how do you plan to work with other leaders and local municipalities on addressing long-term challenges facing Habersham County? And we'll start with Andrea.
I think it's, can y'all hear me? I think it's real important that we have a relationship with the cities. We have to negotiate with the cities sometimes when it comes to SPLOST. We negotiate with them on other issues. We have to have that rapport with the cities. We have to know who the leaders in the cities are and where that city's growth is happening. And actually, I think that we ought to be able to help the cities in some way. I'm lucky because having been a commissioner for 8 years, I have already made those contacts with a lot of the people that are still in office. And this new ordinance I keep referring to seems like they're aiming growth towards the cities because the services are there. There's water there. There's sewer there. I'm not so sure that that's fair to the cities. I think we're putting an additional burden on the cities, and that is something we need to talk to the cities about, and you need to have that relationship with the cities.
Sorry. The big ticket items that I think you're talking about is landfill, water source, things like that. Can y'all hear me? Just making sure. Okay. So, in all the new developments that is coming in, that also puts a strain on all of the burdens. Yes, we need a relationship with the cities. I've never understood why it's always been a city versus county thing. And it goes through the whole system like that. I, too, have working relationship. I have a great one with Mount Airy. So I understand that. And my big thing is bringing people together, whether it's to work together on the water. I mean, Habersham County is looking at water issues right now, and ultimately the county has no water source to actually tap onto. So therefore, we have to work with the cities, whether it's in partnership with, making the reservoirs bigger or, anything like that. That scared me.
Thanks, Cody. Appreciate that. All right, so moving on to question number 3. What are your thoughts and opinions on the Unified Development Code being worked on by the current County Commission, and how do you see it needs amending or adjusting? And what strategy or idea would you implement to help protect our farm and agricultural properties? And we'll start with Andrea.
I've read through that. It's over 270 pages long. I admire the work that went into it, but there's a whole lot more that needs to be done. If I was sitting commissioner right now and it came before me, I would have to say no. At that recent town hall meeting, it was pointed out there are over 20,000 parcels that are zoned wrong. That's a huge map that needs to be fixed. I think it just needs to go all the way back and start all over again. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. I think that we need to, again, respect private property rights. Somebody that's had a farm in their family or owns acreage and they want to sell it, and I'm not saying I'm for growth, don't get me wrong, but I think that person has a right to sell it or divide it when they want to, not according to what the county says they have to do. I think that could be ruled unconstitutional for someone to come in and say, I cannot divide my property or I cannot sell it the way when I want to. And I know that they're trying to control growth. Sorry.
So I have sat through multiple meetings on the UDO. I think the first time I started researching it and looking into it was during the commissioner's retreat when I first learned of it. To me, the way that it's set up and designed at the moment is it's actually it's redirecting growth. I'm not sure that it's going to control the growth. I think it's going to redirect it towards the south end. And that's not really fair to the people in the south end because we need to protect all the citizens. I'm more for possibly doing a 2-acre minimum all across the board. I also think that we should never tell families that they cannot subdivide their land. I mean, for their children and grandchildren. It's almost like I feel like we should have 2 different options, one for families and one for developers. I think the developers need more restrictions instead of the families because we should never tell a family that they cannot subdivide their home that they've had for years in the family for their children and grandchildren.
Moving on to question number 4. How will you improve transparency in county government and ensure taxpayers understand how their money is being spent?
Well, I'd like to encourage more people to come to the commission meetings and the budget hearings. Those are very eye-opening. And I think the county does a good job of trying to communicate that, but I think there needs to be more town hall meetings. You know, even with this UDO, they did have town hall meetings and nobody showed up until it came to the commission, and then it got to be a hot item. But the public also needs to participate in these meetings, and they need to be more involved, not just when it affects your own little part of the world, but the county as a whole, because whatever happens in the county is going to affect you one way or the other. So I think there needs to be more open communication and more online communication. Come to the meetings, and the commissioners need to come out to the public. They need to know each and every one of you and what your concerns are and where you live and what you say and what you think, just like he did.
Education is a big thing that I feel like we all need. After deciding to run for office, I have been talking to a lot of people, and to find out that they really don't understand a lot of things that we talk about. And when politicians and commissioners and everyone like that gets to talking, that's language that they already know, where the common person doesn't know this language. So doing more of education to people, I feel like would teach these people or teach everyone. I've asked several people, hey, do you know what a comprehensive plan is? You've heard of it, right? And they're like, yes, we have heard of it. I said, do you know what it is? And they're like, absolutely not. It's just what they tell us, that's what we're going by. And so once you get to talking to them and you understand what it is, they're like, hey, how do I help? So getting the word out is one thing, but we have to, right now we only push things on social media because we assume everybody's on there. But the younger generation, they're not on Facebook anymore. They're on TikTok and Snapchat. That light keeps scaring me. And so, like I said, we have to start looking at different revenues that we're putting the word out other than just on the social media or the newspaper. Because
we just get going.
All right, moving on to question number 5. Habersham County citizens are growing tired of tax increases. What steps will you take as a commissioner to ensure that our property taxes are reduced?
Can't pass that off to Victor that one. I think, part of that is that we really, really need to go and pay attention to the budget. Where is that money being spent? Where can we make cuts? going to the budget hearings is one thing, but they need to go line by line by line through that budget and see where they can cut it. And they need to communicate to the public, this is what we're doing, this is how we're going to have to cut the budget, and this is what's going to happen. It's a big mystique, but there's a lot of money that's collected, there's a lot of money being spent, and the taxpayers need to know that, and they need to know where it's going. Some of your tax bill goes to pay the hospital debt. That's something the commissioners had to do. We have to have a hospital, and I'm getting blamed for that on social media. I'll claim it. We had to have a hospital. We could not let that hospital go. It's part of the economic development for this county. We have to have a hospital, so that has to pay that debt. It was $38 million when I was commissioner. We have to have that. There's that little nasty red light over there.
So after sitting through every one of the budget hearings, I learned a whole lot. One, Bruce Harkness knows everyone. And two, working with the department heads, working with elected officials, we need to start within there, getting them to stay on budget, and looking at ways to cut costs. And I know that the county employees does a great job going through that, but there's got to be another way. And secondly, we also need to make sure that we don't make past mistakes that we don't need to go into the budget again, because those mistakes end up costing us a lot in the end. But this new development that's coming through, it's also another thing that with the infrastructure stuff, it will start costing us more money. We have to maintain what we got, and we have to start watching and making sure that all department heads are accountable for what the money they spend.
Okay, final question here. Are there any matters that would come before the commission that you would have to recuse yourself from? And we'll start with Andrea.
I can't think of any. I have no family here. I don't own a business that I can't think of anything that I would have to recuse myself from. I'm very opinionated, so that's probably not a good thing. But I can't think of anything that I would have to recuse myself from.
I do own a business here, but luckily it goes to the city, so I don't think I've ever went to the county on anything my business has. The only thing I could think of is the Chattahoochee Mountain Fair. The county is gracious enough to work with us, and actually they allow us to have the fair up there. So the only thing I could ever think of would be through the fair. So.
All right, now we're going to move into closing statements. Ladies, thank you so much for taking the time and talking with all of us. We're going to start with those closing statements, and we're going to start with Shelley. We'll let you go first.
Habersham County is a special place. As I've said that multiple times. I hear my husband a lot refer to it as God's country. Just driving the roads, it's just a beautiful place, and I, for one, do not want to see that to change. I'm not a career politician. I want to be here for the voice of the people. Right now, a lot of people feel like they don't have a voice when it comes to things. And as far as me, I am always open. My phone is I'm always there to answer the phone. The answer I give you might not be the one that you're looking for, but you'll always get an answer from me. I will say this, I do thank everybody for coming out, and if I have the chance to be your next county commissioner, I promise you I'll go all the way and fight for you till the end.
I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, and I would appreciate you considering voting for me. I was your commissioner here for 8 years. I enjoyed every minute of it, and part of what I enjoyed was putting people together. Believe me, I do not have all the answers, but maybe I know somebody that does. And what I found out in that 8 years, a lot of people just want to have somebody that they can call and talk to. That, like I said, I may not have the answer, but I might know somebody who does have the answer. And I'm open to any kind of communication. My phone number, I'll be glad to give it to you right now or come up to me later. But I think it's really important to understand that I have the experience, I have the time, I have no commitments here, I have no family here, I'm retired, and I'm willing to put myself out there and to do the job like I did before for 8 years. And I thank you very much.
Ladies, thank you so much. They are. We'll allow you to go back to your seats, and y'all take a breather for just a moment. All right, for those of you that have made your way back in, we're going to go ahead and start the second portion of this. This is going to be District 3. We've got two candidates here with us this evening. We've got Jason Smith and Danny McClellon. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being with all of us this evening. Rules are the same as they were for the last go-around, just sounds a little bit better now. Can everybody hear me in the back? Good? Okay. All right. So, gentlemen, same thing. You're going to have 2 minutes to give an opening statement, and then the questions 1 through 6, you'll have 1 minute to answer a piece, and then we'll have closing statements. Any questions for me? All right. So, Jason, we're going to go ahead and start with you. We're going to go ahead and let you do your opening statement. You'll have 2 minutes.
All right, my name is Jason Smith. I'm running for Habersham County Commission District 3. I am a West Point graduate, a retired military. I'm a local business owner. I've actually dedicated my entire life to service. I started out, I actually joined the National Guard when I was 17 years old, did a split option while I was in high school, then went to basic training. Went to West Point, went into the Army, got out, still served in the National Guard while I was running a business and doing stuff. Deployed all over the world. I am a local civil engineer, very versed in infrastructure, landfills, airports, roads, drainage. Actually helped out the county on a lot of different things on different projects with drainage and different kinds of things that the county has done as far as the soccer complex and stuff. So I've got a wide range of different talents I can bring to the commission. And this is my home. This is where my wife teaches, my kids are raised, and I really want, I love this community. I love it, the people here. They have taken care of my family while I've been on deployments, and I just want to pay it back through service to the community.
My name's Danny McClellon. I'm running for Commissioner District 3. I'm a lifelong resident of Habersham County. My family's been down on Pea Ridge for probably 150 years. Grew up there, went to Habersham Central, graduated. My son, son graduated from Habersham Central. Got grandkids that's in school in Level Grove at the moment. One that's in Tullis Falls. I know the heartbeat of the area because I've been there all my life. I've seen the changes that's come in the last few years, and just want to kind of keep it the same as it was. Thank you.
All right, gentlemen, we'll begin with question number 1. Over the past 2 decades, Habersham County's agricultural economy has seen a significant shift. According to the University of Georgia Farmgate reports, our county ranked 3rd in the state in 2002 with $223 million in Farmgate value, but by 2023, we'd fallen to 46th with approximately $119 million. While agriculture remains Habersham County's #1 industry, this trend suggests a substantial decline in both ranking and overall value. At the same time, we're experiencing continued population growth and increasing pressure for residential development as a bedroom community. Given these competing pressures, what top strategy would you consider to find a workable solution to reverse this trend? And Jason, we'll start with you.
In my job, I actually work a lot with poultry farmers. Believe it or not, a mountain is not the best place to put a 800-foot long chicken house. It makes it kind of difficult to do, but I've done a lot of work with that. But the way the development's gone in the county and the area, it's put a lot of pressure on farmers. As development comes in, people complain about farm noises, farm smells, and different things. So we need to make certain that the farmers are protected. Also with taxes, as far as the farmers are concerned, I actually talked to Kelly McCormick and how the new UDO may affect tax values on the properties as far as with the new UDO, the new zoning districts and everything. So his opinion is it won't affect it, but we need to make certain that that is true, and we are keeping farmlands protected, people who want to farm to still be able to farm, and people that don't want to farm to have the ability to do something with their land that is useful.
I personally think that we need to get more people, through the FFA program involved with agriculture in the county. And I've seen a lot of young people that's jumping into the agriculture industry here lately. I want to keep it the way it is. I'm old school, and there are a lot of poultry farms in here. It's the reason they're moving away now. They're kind of shifting everything, the processing plants over to Franklin County and that away. But we got to just do what we can to keep our cattle farms and our orchards and of that kind of thing. Try to keep it in the county.
All right, we're going to move on to question number 2. How do you plan to work with other local leaders and municipalities to address long-term challenges facing Habersham County? And Jason, we'll begin with you.
Well, Habersham County is one big community. It doesn't matter whether you live in the city or within the county. We need to make certain that we act as a community and we work with one another. We work with the cities, work with the county, make certain that any type of infrastructure, any type of planning includes the cities, and make certain that the city officials and the citizens within those cities have a say-so in what's going on, because a lot of our city limits actually overlap, and everything is connected by the county. So, working with the cities is extremely important in order to be able to figure out how to do things. So, comprehensive planning documents, the rezoning documents, everything else needs to have direct coordination between the leaderships in the cities and in the county.
Yeah, I think working with the cities, Demers, Clarksville, Mount Airy, all of them needs to, be involved in the processes that we're going through. The water, because we're going to need more water, and right now it's controlled by Baldwin and Demers, but the future growth in this county, it's coming. We can do whatever we can to keep it at bay, but it's sneaking up on us really, really hard right now. So we got to work with the county, the cities a little bit, just to see what, we just got to have a working agreement with them.
Okay, we're going to move on to question number 3. What are your thoughts and opinions on the Unified Development Code being worked on by the current County Commission, and how do you see it needing amending or adjusting, and what strategy or idea would you implement to help protect our farm and agricultural properties? And Jason, we'll begin with you.
All right, the Unified Development Ordinance is basically an upgrade or update to this Comprehensive Land Development Ordinance that was actually approved in 1992. It is definitely something we need to look at. We need to make certain that our county is not taking advantage of outside influences. We need to make certain that certain standards are being met, that infrastructure is being taken into consideration, that property rights are being done. There's a big balance in that right now between making certain that people have property rights while keeping outside influences from taking advantage of our holes in our development standards. Because right now, if a developer comes in and finds holes in our development standards, they can take advantage of those and give us something we really don't want. So it's not perfect and needs a lot of work, especially our zoning maps. So it's something that we will continue to work on and possibly have to amend in the future.
This unified development thing is a slippery slope, you know. Is where are we going to tell, you know, private property rights versus, you know, telling somebody what they can and can't do with their land? It's, you know, you pay taxes on your land and you don't want to be told what to do with it, but, you know, but then you don't want somebody moving in next door with a 100-acre or 100-lot subdivision. So it's going to take a lot of work to get, you know, to get to where we need to be, because nobody likes to be told, you know, what we can do on our own land.
All right, we're going to move on to question number 4, gentlemen. How will you improve transparency in county government and ensure taxpayers understand how their money is being spent?
I went to all the zoning meetings, not the zoning, the budget meetings for the county that we had a couple months ago. One thing in the zoning and the budget, not zoning, but the budget meetings, the budget documents are very large and complex and have a lot of different line items. One thing that we can do, and I encourage it to do, is that citizens get involved, but also we can actually try to do a better job of giving a synopsis and kind of everyday language to the people of what's in the budget, what's not in the budget, and try to break it down so people can understand it better. Because face it, nobody wants to read a 400-page document that has a few thousand line items of what it is, but they will understand and be able to look at the big ticket items, big things, and we need to make certain our different departments are efficient and well supported.
This is kind of one of the peeves of mine. I'd kind of like to see, and I know the department heads would not like to see this, but, you know, I'd like this budget to be broke down to where it is every day, you know, where the dollars are going, you know, and not just rubber stamp everything that comes through there. The road department needs, you know, $5 million. Yeah, let's just go ahead and give it to them. You know, I want to see where this money's going to, you know, down to the penny, you know. And whether that takes independent auditors come in, and I know, as I say, I know the department heads is not going to like that, but I think it's something we need to, as taxpayers, need to see.
All right, we're going to move on to question number 5. Habersham County citizens are tired of tax increases. What steps will you take as a commissioner to ensure that our property taxes are reduced?
Well, we need to make certain our departments are efficient. We need to make certain that we are not reactionary, but we're proactive, so that we understand what we can anticipate, and as such as ensuring that we have good maps of where our problems are and try to anticipate issues. We need to make certain that we are also maintaining good talent within the county. We have lost a lot of good talent to other counties and surrounding areas here recently. We need to make certain they have the tools they need to be efficient, and that they are supported, and that they're valued and well trained.
Personally, on the, the taxes, I think we need to go through every department and cut the fat out. A lot of department, we have assistants to the assistant to the assistant. You go up there to pull a permit and somebody's sitting over there on their phone, Facebook, whatever. We want to make sure that everybody is doing their job in the county, and it's not just up there drawing a salary. I get complaints, I've heard complaints of, well, I'm not going to go into that right now, but of people not doing their job. But I think we need to go line for line and cut, see where we can cut the fat up there.
Gentlemen, we're down to the final question here. Are there any matters that would come before the commission that you would have to recuse yourself from? And we'll begin with Jason. There you go.
Possibly. I'm actually my career is infrastructure, so there are people that I've worked with in the past or different things I've done that could that I may have to recuse myself from, but that is a professional decision I would take seriously. If I had any kind of conflict at all with any kind of decisions being made, I'd make certain I recuse myself. But also on the flip side of that, because of my background and in infrastructure and design and different things in the county, I would also be a big asset to anything that came before the commission that is related to that. You can never anticipate everything that would come before you that you may have a conflict in, but at some time, I mean, any of us that would be on the commission you could possibly have a family member or something else come before the commission that had something that, so recusing yourself from a personal interest is the professional thing to do, and you shouldn't have any issues with doing that.
There's nothing out there that I would have to recuse myself from. I've never been involved in the government of any way, so I don't see anything that come up that I would have to set back off.
Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for answering these questions. We're going to have closing statements, and Danny, we're going to start with you, and you'll have some time there.
Don't know how to put this, but if you give me a chance at this job, I think I'm the one that's going to ask the questions, some hard questions about where your money's spent, where every dollar's going. I want to see that as a taxpayer, because I'm just like y'all. I'm tired of my taxes. Every year, another $500, and us just rubber stamping, just extra spending, more spending, more spending. We need less government instead of more government, and we need less taxes. In a $40 million budget, there's a lot of places we could do some trimming. Thank y'all for letting me speak.
Yeah, I do bring a lot to the table. I'm a military retiree, a local engineer, business owner, I understand how a lot of things happen. I've actually been over projects, multi-million dollars. I'm actually working on a multi-billion-dollar project right now. I've worked all over the nation, all over the state, and exterior to the nation too. I've worked in 5 different countries. I understand how infrastructure works, how leadership works in the military, how people can get the most out of people, being efficient and asking the most out of the employees of the county. I'm a fact-based person. That's kind of a problem with being an engineer and in the military, as you're kind of black and white with a lot of different things. So I make decisions based on all the information I can get, and I keep up with that information. I make informed decisions. I research. But again, I ask you for your vote. Thank you. Bye.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for sitting through these questions, and thank you all so much for being supportive. Let's give one big round of applause for all 4 candidates that we saw tonight.